What's going on, guys? Horror Junkies back with another video. Looks like today we're going to do a movie review on the movie Snow Falls.
Directed by Colton Tran, or Tran, whatever. I don't know how you say it.
Done by Lionsgate. This movie hit under the radar. We did watch the trailer for this movie, and
It looked like ass.
yeah, we was just thinking, this is probably not going to be that good of a movie. So before we get into this review, though, we would definitely appreciate you guys if you would subscribe to our channel, hit that thumbs up button, because this channel we would really appreciate that, guys. It really help us out. We're doing really good. We're starting to do some different things. We got different kinds of videos coming up shortly. One of the videos was going to come this weekend, and it just not going to happen. Something kind of got messed up with it, and then so we got to put it off a little bit. But it is definitely going to be on some horror figures. We're going to start reviewing those. And that's coming soon. We've been working on that, and things are looking up. We're going to start doing some different things. And before we get deep into this, this is definitely going to be a spoiler video. So if you haven't seen this movie, you might want to click out of here before we get to talking about it, because we're going to talk about it.
Y'all should already know the rules. We don't really do spoiler-free videos.
No, we really don't. Because at this point, this movie came out last month, and maybe there's not too many people that know about it, but we're gonna get into it because that's just what we do, you know. So you might want to go watch the movie and then come back and watch this video and let us know what you think about the movie. So here we go. It starts off really slow. It's 5 friends going to a cabin because one of the girls, her mother just died recently, and she just went through a breakup. So they're going to this cabin who is owned by one of the guys that's with them, his parents, and just to cheer up for New Year's. They're going there to celebrate New Year's for a couple of days, and then they're going right back home.
Or so they think.
Yeah, so they think, because on the way there it is snowing, and this movie basically takes off at this point. You know what I mean? There's no introduction to any of these characters. They're not packing, they're not nothing. They're on the road. They're on their way there, and you hear over the radio where there's bad storms coming, and they just so happen to mention on the radio that in another country, the snow is making people sick. Kind of almost like zombie-like, which is kind of weird. So they don't think anything about it. They go up to the cabin. The dudes that his parents own this cabin is kind of like the buzzkill of the friends, because he talks to his dad, and his dad on the phone, and his dad's like, don't you guys fuck nothing up. You better not. Your mom be pissed. So he spends the first half of the video, or the first half of the movie, telling people, you better put a coaster on that shit. You know what I mean? Don't you fuck up my parents' shit. Don't you do it. So he spends the first part of the movie doing that. And then one of the dudes is like, man, fuck this shit. Let's party. You know what I mean? We're up here to have fun. We're up here to have a good time. And one of the girls is hypochondriac, like really bad. Like she's always sick. Something's wrong with her.
Always dying from something.
Yeah, and her boyfriend's like, just chill. Ain't nothing wrong with you. You know, you're fucked up in the head, blah, 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 type shit. You know, he's just like, he brushes it off like it's nothing. So they get to partying and shit, you know, drinking, what young people do.
doing the drugs.
No, I don't think there was any drugs. I think it was just alcohol.
Whatever.
Okay.
By the way, one of the characters, the dude who's always into partying and shit, he's the director of the movie.
Yeah, and he's kind of funny, but not.
He's like one of those dudes, like, he's fun for a minute, and then if you're around him too long, you just want to punch him in the face.
Yeah, like it gets really annoying really fast. He's that kind of dude. And the girl that they're going up there to help with her mom just recently dying and going through a breakup, she's actually a nurse. So they decide that they're going to go outside, play in the snow, build a snowman, this, that, and the other, drink, get drunk, and then eat some snow. They're actually going to put snow in some alcoholic drinks. So a little bit later on, they start to feel weird, or the hypochondriac chick does. Anyway, she's just like, I think it's the snow. Something's wrong with the snow. You know, I guess maybe she remembered the story on the way up there that they heard on the radio, and she's like, I think it's the snow. You know, and she starts kind of flipping out.
Yeah, you know what? She flips out, and tired of leaving up to talk. She flips out and goes outside.
Oh shit!
Keep in mind, there's a blizzard, back-to-back blizzards, and she goes outside in nothing but a tank top, saying, "It's warm out here."
Yeah. So they get through New Year's.
I think you're cool with your mic. I could do this shit right here.
Oh, dude, this mic is great. Look, I'm comfortable. I don't have to lean up. It's great. You need to get one. So they go through New Year's, and they're partying, getting drunk, and the whole nine. And all of a sudden, the weather gets worse, and the electric goes out. Now, mind you, during this cabin that this guy's parents own, and it's pretty much a vacation spot. So there's not much gas for the generator. There's very little food other than what they brought with them. Or they probably have more alcohol than they do food, I think. So they're like, what are we going to do? You know, we can't leave. And the dude, he's like, man, the electric don't go out for very long. Normally it's about a day or so. So they
3 days later, it's still out.
The dude that's the funny guy, he's like,
the director.
Yeah, he's like, they're like, what are we going to do if we run out of firewood? He's like, well, I guess we're just going to have to burn some shit. And the dude, his parents own the cabin. He's like, no, you ain't touching this shit. I'd have told this dude, like, look here, I will beat your ass, and then while you're knocked out, I will burn your shit. Like, we ain't, So he keeps them from doing that.
And something that bothered me with this movie while watching it, after the power goes out and shit, and they start running low on food and firewood and shit, it takes them entirely too long to actually do something about it.
Right.
They just pretty much just sit around and freeze to death.
They drag this out too. Like, once the power goes out, it's so dragged out. It's so slow moving at the beginning. Actually, through the whole movie. It's probably one of my biggest complaints about this movie is so slow moving. And I guess they do this because of hypothermia. That's basically what this movie is based around. So it gets really cold. They start running out of firewood. They actually run out of firewood. They start running out of
log cabin. There's wood all around you.
And they start coming up with different plans. Oh, let's go siphon the gas out of the car so we can use it for the generator. And dude's like, well, how are we going to get back when we're able to leave? So...
Yeah, and you kept saying something when they kept talking about the blizzards, like, we can't go out there. It's like, don't y'all have a 4-wheel drive?
Yes, they pull up in a Jeep Grand Cherokee. I think that's what it was. If I can remember correctly, I believe that's what it was. It is a 4-wheel drive vehicle. I mean, it doesn't say it on there, and they don't show it really close, but you can kind of pretty much think it's a Jeep. Most Jeeps are 4-wheel drives. Pretty sure. So the hypochondriac chick goes outside with a tank top, and she's like, it's warm out here, and she just starts tripping. And then the next thing you know, this bitch cuts her stomach open.
After she pukes snow.
Yes.
Which the snow looked no different. It looked like exactly when she ate it.
Yeah, like they show her in the bathroom, she's tripping. Like she was on some major drugs. And then this bitch just starts puking snow. Like it came out looking like it probably went in. Like snow. And then she cuts her stomach open. Like cuts that shit. And
right after she cuts her stomach open, she's bleeding all over the rug and shit. This dude, the dude whose parents own the cabin, he starts wiping up the blood and shit, not even worrying about the chick.
Yeah, he's like, she don't fuck my parents' bathroom up and shit. Like,
so my dad's gonna kill me.
So, the special effects in this movie were so terrible.
Mm-hmm. The CGI was horrible.
This is one of the things about this movie that probably could have been way better. And if it was better, and if they took their time with it, could have been probably really good. But the very first thought of a CGI spot in this movie was when you looked out, when they was talking in the house and you could see out the window, you could so tell it was CGI snow. I mean, it was terrible.
It gets really bad, especially with the snow towards the end of the movie, because there's a point close to the end of the movie where they open the door and the snow is just floating in midair and it's not even moving. You're just like, I'm pretty sure snow doesn't do that.
Yeah.
Or the terrible, terrible CGI snowman.
Oh yeah, that was probably the worst. And they look outside. The funny part was the deeper the snow got, the snowman didn't get any deeper. Like it wasn't covering him. He was just sitting on top of it. Like around the snowman didn't get any deeper.
And the fucked up part is about the snowman is it was a good, I wouldn't say jump scare, but it was a good part of the movie until the snowman got to the door.
Yeah, because somebody was looking outside, and every time they turn around and look back, he was closer to the cabin. And then at some point, they look back, and it's right up against the door. And he starts pecking it like a woodpecker.
With his nose carrot.
With his nose carrot.
His nose carrot.
And well, he didn't shatter it, but he cracks the glass.
And the fucked up part is when he's hitting the glass with his nose carrot, he smiles, and you can tell the teeth, like the sharp teeth, are just terrible CGI.
It looked like Jack.
It looked like Jack Frost.
Jack Frost, the one horror movie, because he had like pointy teeth, and he was smiling. He had the pointy teeth just like him, and it was just like it looked like a ripoff from that movie. And it was really terrible.
That was the really bad thing about that scene, is because when the snowman was moving closer, every time they look back, that was actually pretty good.
Yeah.
Until he got to the door.
Yeah.
Or the window, and then he looked shitty.
Yeah. And then he pecked the window with his nose carrot.
His nose carrot.
Like he was a woodpecker.
Mm-hmm. He was looking for some freckle buns. Let me tell you.
Freckle. And then I'd have to say probably one of the best, the only jump scare in this whole movie, which was barely that.
Are you talking about in the closet?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
When the hand,
I was like, I don't even remember no jump scares.
Dude's looking in the closet and a hand comes out like one of the shirts or something out of the sleeve.
Let me tell you.
And at this point, they are like hypochondriac. Hypothermia is sitting in because it's so cold and they've been there for so many days with no heat, no food.
Mm-hmm. I want to ask a question right quick. I want to know who played that hand. Because whoever's hand that is, they got about 15 knuckles on one finger. I want to know. Oh my god.
That was probably one of the best. I can't even say jump scares because it's kind of, but not. You know, it was, you knew, you could kind of see it coming because of the way they just portrayed it and brought it forth that something was going to happen.
Well, yeah. Once
you kinda knew.
you see the arm or the hand go through the jacket sleeve, it's kind of obvious what's going to happen.
So, another part that was weird was, yeah, and this is where the girl that is the nurse, she kicks in because she starts telling everybody about hypothermia and what happens to people when it kicks in. And so they're not listening to her though. Like she kept telling one of the dudes not to drink, and he was like, "No, fuck that. You know, I'm gonna drink all this shit." You know, because she's basically telling him it's just gonna, you know, it's gonna fuck you up. It's not.
See, my thing is, right, there's a point, multiple points actually, in the movie where they turn the stove on. There's more than one stove. Couldn't you just leave that bitch on and the house would heat up?
Right. Like, that's all they had. They had gas. So why not just leave it on? Hey, turn all them burners on and open the oven and turn that bitch on. That was one of the other parts that was fucked up too. That was one of the coolest parts of this movie, where the dude turned on the fucking burner on the stove and he was so fucking cold that he just put his hand on the burner like it was nothing.
He didn't care.
No. He was like, man, you know, I'm hot now.
And that scene was weird too, because there's also like 50 million candles around the house. So if you were really that cold, couldn't you just take your gloves off and put them over the candle?
Yeah.
Like, these people are dumb.
Or not take your gloves off.
Yeah, or better yet, just set the whole fucking cabin on fire because it's made of wood.
And this is the same guy that, I guess he goes to do something outside and he doesn't ever come back, and
They find
a couple of them go looking for him and he's butt ass naked, dead in the snow.
There's
Just
a
dead.
scene like 2 days later. There's a scene like 2 scenes later where it shows him walking and he just starts stripping his clothes off.
Yeah.
I guess apparently, according to the nurse, one of the side effects or something like that of hypothermia is feeling like you're hot.
Yeah. You like your body's overheating and you can't handle it. So needless to say, this movie's definitely better than Winnie the Pooh.
It's not that hard.
There's no doubt about that. It's not a great movie, but it was okay.
It's like winter's cabin fever.
Exactly.
Except, no flesh-eating virus.
At the end, the nurse is the only one alive. And she's sitting on the porch talking to one of the dudes who actually goes in there and takes a cold fucking shower.
While he's suffering hypothermia.
And dies, which you don't think he dies. They don't show that part. So you actually, this is the actual twist, which is actually probably the best part of the movie. They're sitting on the porch talking, and the cops pull up, and he's like, "Are you okay?" And she's like, "Yes, we are fine." And he's like, "We," and then she looks over, and he's not
gone.
there. He's not there. So she was literally. So this movie's based around hypothermia. They try to throw that there's toxic snow in another country to throw you off at the beginning of the movie because that's what you think it is. And then you start to realize what's happening, because when you have hypothermia, you hallucinate, you see things, and these are the things during the movie she was trying to tell these people and they wouldn't listen to her. So it was kind of weird. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't great.
The one thing that confused me at the end of the movie is, why did the cops show up? Because nobody called them. Because nobody had cell service.
I think at one point, if I can remember correctly, somebody did get a hold of the cops, but I don't remember. Dude,
I'd have to go back and watch it.
Yeah,
but I
it
really
was so
don't
back
feel
and
like
forth that it was kind of, if there was a spot like that, you kind of don't remember it just because you're like, and granted, it's definitely worth a watch. go watch it, check it out. It's not terrible. It's okay. It's okay. I would give it, if I had to rate it, I'd probably give it a 3 out of a 5, just because that you wasn't expecting some of the things that happen in it, and it did kind of have a nice little twist at the end that you didn't think was going to come. So the special effects were terrible.
If we were rating it out of...
The story wasn't bad.
No.
The story wasn't bad. It was decent. It was just...
shitty CGI.
The CGI was terrible, and the acting, for the most part, wasn't very good.
It was... You could tell most of these people, this was either their first movie that they acted in, or they haven't been acting very long.
Right.
Just because the way they delivered lines and shit. And if we had to rate this movie out of 10, it'd probably be like a 4.
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah. I agree.
But look at this cool background though.
Yeah, it is pretty cool.
It's nice.
We're
outside.
Snow Falls.
Snow Falls.
So, and they get the name of the movie. That's the name of the town. So that's going to be it on this video, guys, for Snow Falls. Appreciate you guys tuning in and checking it out. Like always, follow us on YouTube, Facebook, /rap. And until next time, this is Horror Junkies, and we're out.